other guy, he said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. Now, I want to help some of you because some of you in this room, I don't want you just to compete because competing is dangerous. Because when you compete, you got to go all the way to the fourth quarter to make that thing happen. And the thing that's cool about dominating is when you dominate, you take your opponent out the game. I am charging you not to be a student, not to be an entrepreneur, not to be whatever you are. I am charging you that in your space, you need to dominate in your space. I just need you to do me a huge favor. Come on, work with me. I can, I will, I must. Are you hearing what I'm telling you?
What's going on, guys? Tyson Anderson, Mr. Hammer Down. Listen, we want to talk about managing the off season. Now, that can be defined as a multiple of things, right? A plethora of things. Now, when I say manage, I don't mean as far as necessarily prioritizing. What I'm saying is, what can I do during the off season and that offsetting of the gun season? What can I be doing? Let me move a little closer. What can I be saying? How can I be, bringing the dogs on fundamentally? Just a couple points that a couple guys have said to me I wanted to cover the base of. And that is, for me in the off season, they say, well, what do you do, Tyson? Well, for me, I like to at least try and get 2 a days on those dogs, but that's never a guarantee, right? Because it's hot, it's humid, depending on where you are. But there's always something you can be found doing, whether that is working on handling, whether that is breaking a dog on off game or off of off game, soloing, bracing, late night running, assessing the pen, redoing the pen, revamping the kennel. There's so many things that can be done in the off season. And a lot of guys, a lot of time, mismanage that. These mosquitoes are biting me. But they mismanage the time that they have. And I'm not talking about prioritizing, but obviously priorities are a little, whatever, in whomever's life. You know where you are, you know what you have to do, you know what your schedule consists of, right? Well, for me, again, solely me, in my opinion talking, I know that in the off season, that's where I've made my best dogs. That's where the strongest pivot of a dog's learning curve really begins to incline. Well, the de-escalation of forming that rabbit dog happens when the off season comes and that dog is set up. That dog begins to go backwards. That dog may be a higher maintenance type of dog. If that's the case, you need to get rid of that anyway, unless that's what you want. But again, it really just depends. The off season is not a season where it's literally supposed to be taken as such, being that is the time that we do nothing. That's the time that I take my break. That's the time that I put on my pants of lackadaisicalness, my spirit of slumber and slothfulness, excuse me. That's not what that means. That's not what that insinuates. Off season is a figurative phrase. It's a figurative word that is not to be taken literal. But it's meant, I believe, to, I would say, help push or thrust a person or a pair of persons into that place. If you work a 9 to 5, I don't. My dogs are what I do, period. That's what I do. Pardon me. My dogs are very important to me, to the point where I told my family and my home, I said, listen, This is a thing that I know is my passion, but passion doesn't always pay. So we have to find a way that if this is your passion, and you do work a 9 to 5, you do work a 7 to 3, 11 to 7, whatever. You have a contemporary type of job. Guess what? In the work field, you have to adjust your schedule as such. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but at the same time, don't get so sidetracked in whatever it is that you're doing if you're going to have dogs and you want them to be exceptional. Hear me, guys. Listen, this isn't a beat down. This isn't a put down. This isn't me to poke my chest out and try to seem as if I've got it figured out, or I'm the big chief. That's not what this is. What this is just a elaboration of reason, and it's also strongly, again, my opinion. That's why this is my channel. If you're just an average Joe Blow and you just want to kill rabbits off the jump when they come out, bam, bam, I don't care if the dog is mouthing, I don't care if they run deer, I don't care, whatever. This channel, this particular video, usually not for you, because this is for the more serious and adamant, the committed at heart when it comes to these Beagles. And if you do the right thing in the off season, everything will gel together. It's almost like a marriage. It's almost like lifting weights. Any of those things. You have to be diligent and you have to be found working in the midst of that. The off season, that is the time that it separates the men from the boys, the women from the girls. And though you're your own man, your own woman, your own young man, your own young woman or young lady, you have a mind, and that mind should be geared toward figuring out and better managing your off-season time, because guess what? That's a strong learning curve right there. That's a very strong learning curve, especially for young dogs. If you have young dogs that's under a year old and you set those dogs up for 3 or 4 months, 5, 6 months in the off-season, guess what? Those dogs aren't learning anything at all. They're going backwards, they're regressing. That means the knowledge that you have imparted into them and they have learned and gained into that moment or up until that moment, once you set them up, everything begins to dissolve, everything begins to disintegrate and fumble and go backwards. And for me, again, I can't stress this thing enough, and I continue to say for me, because that's the most important time for me. The gun season is just the icing on the cake, but the foundation of the cake, the eggs, the flour, the baking soda, is the off season. That is the time that the ingredients are poured in, and the exclamation point is placed upon the end of this, the latter part of the sentence, in the gun season. The piecing together of the sentence, the sculpting of the sentence, the statement, the whatever, is the off season. Is the off season. And I know guys that say, man, I don't even run in the off season. I don't believe in running in the off season. Why run in the off season? What's the benefit of that? Well, I can tell you the disadvantage of not running in the off season. And I believe I just touched on them several parts. But we've got to do whatever, or the maximum that we can do. I'm not gonna say do what you can do, of course, but do the maximum. Don't just do enough that knocks the dust off of them, that keeps the fleas at bay. Do as much as you can. As much as you can. If, again, here's the contingency, you're trying to be exceptional. If you're trying to be above the standard bar of mediocrity and average, that extra get up 4:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and running for 3 or 4 hours until it gets a little warm, pulling them, and then going right back out there at 7:30 up until midnight to get that time on them. If that's what it takes to be here opposed to here, that's what it takes. And you've got it. You've got it. Listen, guys, we're going to be doing a whole lot of videos and trying to show you guys a little bit of the inside of us. Some guys say, man, why do you upload so many videos? Why are this and why are that? I haven't heard that, but I'm sure that's what some of other people are saying, right? And I'll tell you, because it's not because of the people that wonder why and this and that, bicker and complain. It's not those people. It is for the pool of the appreciatives. It's for the pool of the appreciatives. Those that find themselves appreciating the content and the infrastructure that goes into making these little snippets to try and give you the sentiments of my heart and what's allowed us to get to the place of betterment for the breed, for the man, for the family, and for the line. I just want to share that with you and sort of let you in on that secret. It's not a secret because the secret is out, right? This isn't Victoria. More like Vini Vici, but no, that's a joke. I don't pay that any attention. I'm gonna stick to my dog job. So yeah, I want us to become a family, and I want us to become at a place where we can really begin to share some educated and intellectual dialogue across the board. If you have questions, you have comments, you have complaints, my page is wide open. You can comment on any of them. You know, you can email me, you can reach out to me, you can contact me. There's no problem whatsoever. But the main focus right now, the focal point of everything we're talking about right now is this off season. We've got to do better, guys, if you want to be exceptional. These dogs are paying the price. And then if you can't do it, it's best that you put those dogs with either a handler, work out some kind of deal, puppy deal, something, you can get the stud fee, whatever, some kind of structure. It is possible. It can work, but you have to work it. My grandfather always used to tell me a very strong, very, very strong a point that he believed helped him be the difference between average and, you know, that super average. And that was, without a plan, plan to fail, make the plan, work the plan, period. That's it. Line it up, figure it out, submit and commit to it, execute, and repeat, and repeat, and repeat. I think in these type of precarious times of not just the world, but the way that this heat index and humidity is set up and dew point is set up, I think a lot of guys are intimidated of all of that, not knowing that there is a sweet spot within that white and black area. There is a gray area in that sense that allows you to be able to work those dogs. If we continue to do what is necessary to bring those dogs on each time, doesn't matter how frustrated you get. If you're soloing a dog, and I don't want to get too deep in this, but if you're soloing a dog for the first time, that dog's going to tick you off more, 9 times out of 10, more by itself doing that than, you know, that way than anything that you've ever done. That's probably one of the most unused and underused methods of development or furthering of development that people can use, soloing, embracing, because it's boring. But if you stick with it, and mainly in the off season, that's the time that the thickest stuff of the thickest stuff of the thickest stuff is out. There's heavy cover and vegetation. And because the heavy cover and vegetation is there, that provides a type of blinder on those dogs where they have to stay tight in and within the parameters of the thick stuff, the thickets, the briars, the Theresa grass, and so forth and so forth. So, you know, that's what you have to capitalize on. If you want that dog to be accurate, if you want that dog to be clean, if you want that dog to be clear and level-headed, that's the time that you maximize, because when the summertime, the wintertime comes and the fall comes, all of that vegetation has died off. And it's went into that circular season, that rotating season where, you know, it's no longer hot, it's no longer humid, now it's getting cooler, the leaves are falling off, everything is dying off, all of what was green in the summer and springtime has now become just sticks and tweeds and open woods, and you can see clean through it, you know? And, you know, that dog can run wide open. Well, if you didn't do anything in the off season to sort of override that roughness, override that type of, you know, boom, boom, bang, 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 you know, and without the headspace to know how to do it, guess what? You really shot yourself in the foot when hunting season comes, because when you turn that dog loose, guess what it's gonna do? Bang, 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 even more than it did in the summer and springtime, because the cover is gone and it's wide open, the scent is better, it's gonna fly. Now he or she may lock on and really punch, but that's not the best running of the dog. The strong temperatures and the strong my mind went blank. The strong humidity levels and high heat indexes, you know, are the times where you really get to see the best of the dog. The best of the dog are the worst days of that dog's running. That's the best of the dog. A lot of people have it misconstrued where they think the best of the dog are the best running days. That's not the best. When you can put a dog in the worst type of conditions known to that dog and release that dog, and that dog still performs and brings that rabbit back in a circle, no matter how pretty, no matter how ugly, guess what? That's the best of that dog. Continue to put that dog in the worst type of situations. I'm not talking about 100 degrees. I'm just talking about the worst type of temperatures. We haven't had rain in 2 weeks. We haven't had this, whatever the situation. Put that dog under the most strenuous of conditions that is known to you and that dog. Learn from one another in the off season and learn how to delegate, hear me, how to delegate that right to ownership. Okay? That's all I got for you guys. I hope I helped a little bit. Hope I hit on a couple things, because I mean, there's really not a lot that else I can say besides that. I mean, you know, the off season is literally, just like the caption says, one of the most misunderused and misunderstood seasons of our lives, you know, and of that dog's life. We really don't get in a hurry enough to try and make that dog better than what it is. Stay tuned, guys. That's all I can say. Stay tuned. Stay the course. You know, stay focused, and just wait on that dog, man, and show you what you're looking for. It'll show you if you just wait on it. It'll show you. It will show you. I can assure you that. And I'm here for you guys. Any questions you all have, I'm not the expert, but I've done this thing enough. I mean, I've been in this thing 23 years, and I've been serious for 13 years. And you know, the last 11 years, I've bred my own bloodline. I haven't went outside of the box. So, you know, it's serving very, very well for me, but I had to put all that time in to get to this point, and I still have another X amount of decades to put in to really finalize the point. So, you know, it's an uphill battle, man, but listen, we can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. Manage that off season. Until next time, Tyson Anderson, Mr. Hammer Down. I'll see you when we see you. Hey guys, almost forgot. Listen, to you guys that have the YouTube channels and you're out here doing great things, let me tell you something. If you feel that you can't make or create content because of the off season, I almost forgot this. This is for you. Hey, there's all kind of content that you can capture. So many different things that you working those puppies and everything else previous to this that I mentioned before, right? Listen, get out there, put that thinking cap on, and broaden those horizons. Sky's the limit, content guys. Sky's the limit, you YouTuber. If you got 1,000 subscribers or 50 million, guess what? I'm looking at some of you guys and you're struggling at the point of content. Listen, don't struggle at the point of content. There's so much more to put out there and to broadcast than just old hunting seasons, last year's hunting seasons, failed moments of last year. We're talking right now. Stay relevant, keep that content going, put your thinking cap on.
Well, the dog, the rabbit, he ready to hold. Not in my